So again, back in Cologne, it's 2:30 a.m. I think I spent the last at least 2 hours on Instagram. I just cannot have the app on my phone. It's not under control. I am not under control with this app. I'm just scrolling deep in the shit. That's just pure life time that I just right. So I'm finally back in Cologne again. Same spot as usual because there's the best light, I reckon. It's been tough, to be honest. Being back home, you've seen the video before. It feels like I have to reboot everything that I was working on before, like getting all the ambition back to work on the app, work on this. I don't know, go to sports and figure it all out again, because there's just so much body memory taking me back to where I'm coming from, experiencing my mom still having the same traits and the same behavior at some point that I try to get away from, because I just feel it doesn't do me any good, and I know it didn't when I acted the same way. So I'm super hesitant to go back, and something is like, I don't want this. And it's crazy, or not crazy, but my friend Amelie just told me that when she's with her mom, and she's been living there like a couple of weeks now after she's been away for a while, and she was like, we're only on common ground when I cut my wings, because that's the only time that we sort of share the same values and stuff. But that's actually not what she wants to do, obviously, because in her process she's trying to do it differently than what she learned, because otherwise she wouldn't be on her ways. She would just be the same and stay the same. And if she's not doing that, this just creates trouble and misunderstandings at home, and bad vibes. And I feel that's the same. So much miscommunication, unless I sort of go back to what I know, rather than stay on the track of the unknown, so to speak. Like creating my new values, creating the life that I've been talking about here, also this project, even telling her how good this is for me, how much more productive I feel, how good I feel in general, didn't seem to, there's nothing and no one to convince of this. This is just, for me, this is what I feel like doing, and this is great. And yet I feel like I need to convince my mom of the things that I'm doing, or that the things I'm doing are okay. For some reason, which are also not too hard to understand actually, but for some reason I still try to convince her of the things that are totally not in her hand, and that I wouldn't even ask for her advice on, And yet it's almost disturbing. Same as watching the pigeon pick the pieces out of someone's throw up that is on the street. It's so disgusting. Sorry, I need to turn. Yeah, it's so confusing getting, like, I get it. I do get the sense of safety that a mom or a dad would want for their children, which usually is the same or probably even more of that safety feeling that they want for themselves, probably even more now that I think about it. And if they feel like their child is in danger or doesn't, I don't know, get along in the world, that must be super hard. But maybe I'm also missing the point of showing them how I do manage to get around in the world. Yet I feel this specific thing is just bound to different, they would judge it differently, Like in my life, realizing how my character is building, how my values are changing, how, for the better, by the way, at least in my opinion, otherwise I wouldn't do it. How there's so many things where I'm like, yeah, man, I'm so proud of where I am on my way, not having reached any goal, because that's just utopia in my head. But that's how I judge how good my life is, so to speak, or how I get along, by the people that surround me, the feedback that I get for who I am rather than what I do and what I have. Yet again, of course, paying the bills, paying rent and all that stuff is definitely a huge point, which if you only take this under consideration, you might have the feeling I don't know how to run this world or how to deal with my life. And I do get that feeling from time to time. But what is just so hard for me to understand is, how can you not see that I'm a healthy, sort of thriving guy, I'm just because I haven't found the thing yet, or which pays me back this worthly value of money. All the other stuff, like how I'm feeling, and also I reckon what my vibe is, which also changed when I go back home. It's just hard for me to understand, because my life here seems so very different and so far away from how life is being judged in the context of my parents, basically. It's not only my mom, even though there are huge differences between those two, and not only location-wise, but also, right, they're very different people, yet this seems to be the same topic over and over again. And I formulated it in a way that I feel every time I sort of think I'm creating a tough foundation, I go back to my parents, and they have like the tiny hammer in their hand and just like tick 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 tick, and like little cracks would be like there's also a saying which I really liked. It was in kind of a spiritual book, and it went like, if you think you're so enlightened, go and spend 10 days with your parents and we'll talk again. That was really accurate. And I feel like I already feel that speaking this out loud and having sort of a joke about it makes me feel way better. Yet I, in a way, feel drained. It's just a notion, right? It's nothing dramatic happened. It's just the fine things, the fine vibrations that I keep picking up, that these days have the energy or the power to, or it's the other way around. I'm open enough to realize tiny vibrations that I don't want in my life. And that's what I realized over the weekend, that I had to get my distance from my mom, because I was picking up some of the vibrations that I really didn't want to have. Like, yeah. All right. So now I gotta go to the yoga. I'm looking forward to it. And talk to you later. Good morning in the morning. It's 12:30, something like that. And this is exactly what I had to reflect about again and again and again. You see, now we have one of the strongest recurring patterns, I reckon, which is the procrastination, the avoidance of going to bed at night, especially when I smoked weed. I've had a really nice evening with my brother, and so up to this point, I find it actually quite fair. Other than I stayed longer than I wanted to, but it was also fine. It was like, yeah, it's 1 o'clock, it's okay. In my opinion, the issue occurs later, which is the endless scrolling through Instagram. And I hear me say that like 3 videos ago or 3 snippets ago. I can't even understand how I'm not able to, I don't know, work with this stuff rather than abusing it. But it just seems so much out of hand for me to control my ability to put it away, put it down. I don't know. It's hard to describe, but I reckon it's still hitting this dopamine button when you smoke weed or take other drugs. Probably the same. I just don't know about it in that case. Then getting stuck in this endless flow of impulses and visuals and sound, and I'm literally watching the clock run down or up in this case. Like, oh, it's 2 a.m. Well, oh, it's 2:30. Oh, well, oh, it's 3 o'clock a.m. Oh, okay. And really pushing it up to 4 a.m. for no reason. Realizing I see the time still saying 2 a.m., you know? And I know I haven't, or I've barely moved in those 2 hours, which is crazy. And I just have to put it like that because I feel like I really need to understand this. Also, how not present my needs and wills are that I have the next day. So my ability to take the next day into consideration, whilst it is quite close actually, it's just not there. So all the things that really, like in this 2 hour or 2.5 hour time slot that I just sat on this couch and just scroll through Instagram, that's exactly the time slot I need for the gym or for a window workflow or a vlog workflow, or I don't know, going to prepare something for Sharingbox. This is all what's happening today, or what's supposed to happen today. And since I'm not giving away my sleep, I just translated 1-to-1 to the next day, and I am just, how should I say, it's been a way from not judging myself for this, and also not being frustrated with myself, because it's not that I'm stepping on one spot or turn in circles and get to the exact same place again and again and again. Yet it's tiny steps in a way, and it's hard to understand, to be honest, really. And it's my own behavior. It's like there are two different people sitting here right now and just a couple of hours before. Yet if I don't get up now and I don't get or become clear about what I want to do, what I need to do, I know it just could happen again. And just because I have stuff to do today, it's why it won't. And again, this probably brings me to really being even more aware of that the times have changed where I don't have shit to do, or where I feel like I don't have shit to do. Because right now it's just annoying because the effects on the day to day are there already. It's not like I'm in trouble for not doing stuff. It's just me judging over that for now. But as soon as this would get more critical because there are more to-dos and more, it's that thing that I also talked to with my brother. It's those mistakes sort of, or those behaviors that are misleading or dysfunctional but are not yet bad enough. So I could live, I mean, not 4 a.m. is quite extreme, but I sort of could live like this in a mediocre way, or lower mediocre way, which I did for the past years probably. But since there is already a sense of waking up, a sense of wanting more, a sense of knowing that there can be more, there has to be more, it feels good to have more. That's the main point. Not that it should or that it must. It just feels good to do more, to avoid less, to just get going and stuff. It just does feel better. And yet not all of my strengths in my body have realized that. Maybe this is also a longer way and I can't, simply because I'm 32. I've just started with it. Maybe I need to be more patient. But yeah, tough one, to be honest, tough one. realizing there's only time for the barbell right now, and then I have to leave, and I haven't even opened my laptop yet, and I should have, could have, would have done like a bunch of things this morning. So part of me really wants to go back, or wants to start this 5 a.m. thing, to just at this time of the day be like, oh yes, I'm done. There's sun outside, I can just go out. I've done all my shit, and I go to bed at 9, whatever. Should think about it, definitely. Probably gets me into another unsocial phase, but maybe that's the way it should be. Because this is not cool. Okay, so much for my thoughts.